That's my otter who follows me around.
Hi, Sean.
Morning.
Thanks
Morning.
everyone for your patience. We were troubleshooting, so you know how that goes.
Oh,
Can never be simple.
is everyone in? Should I just start? I hate when things.
Yep, we've got 14 people in, so I feel like that's probably
I
good.
can't.
Good to go ahead and start, and
Okay,
I'll keep admitting people as they show up.
fantastic. Welcome, everybody. My name is Amy Holt, and it is a pleasure to be here. So imagine you're a bunch of busy entrepreneurs. You finally have time to go on vacation. You could go to the mountains or you could go to the beach. Raise your hand. How many of you would rather go to the mountains, I guess, or put it in chat for those of you who I can't see? How many pick the mountains? Me too. Me too. How many pick the beach? Okay, great. Now we know how to plan. Let's talk about how you communicate directly or factually or empathetically and persuasively. How many are direct and factual? Not so, I don't see anybody. Oh, there you go. How many of you are empathetic and persuasive? Great. I am direct and factual. If you hang out with me, you will see my greatest strength and my greatest weakness. Let's talk about the rules. Some people see rules as suggestions, and others see them as clear guidelines. How many see rules as suggestions? How many see them as clear guidelines? Oh my God, I think rules are such suggestions. I follow the rules once in a while if they make sense. And solving problems. Some people like to solve problems collaboratively and some independently. How many like to solve problems independently? And how many are collaborative? I am completely independent. What I'm trying to show you is we are all different. Some of us are serious, data-driven, cautious. Some of us are energetic, intense, informal, and some orderly, formal, and reserved. We're all different, and we are all awesome. But to reach our full potential as individuals and in your company, we need to understand ourselves, we need to understand each other, and then we need to leverage everybody's strengths. So this webinar is about learning how to leverage data to get the right people in the right seats, drive retention, engagement, and performance. So I'm just going to give you a little 1 minute on me so you know who I am and why I'm here. I started my career as a banker, then I was a lawyer, then I joined a family business. When I joined the family business, we were a chain of 8 independent party stores doing about $8 million in revenue. When we sold, 15 years later, we became Party City's largest franchise. I had over 900 employees and lots of headaches, as you could imagine. After that, I joined a nonprofit media company. When I joined, they had no money in the bank, no distribution, but other than that, it was a great company. When I left 5 years later, we had 6 months working capital in the bank. We're distributing films in 26 countries and had over 1,000 organizational partners. In those jobs, I held every role. I was CEO, COO, general counsel, head merchant. One day, I was unloading a truck, and one of the kids working for me said, "Amy, you would be a great stock guy." And I thought that was a great compliment. I did it all. What I discovered in both of those companies is that running a business, it's a lot of fun until it's not. And then your business starts to run you instead of you running your business. Anyone here experience that? Bunch of entrepreneurs feel like your business runs you. Then I ran a business on EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, and it was the first time I ran my business and it didn't run me. And usually what I do is I'm really good at creating explosive growth, but I also create a lot of chaos. This time, when I ran my business, it was completely organized. And when I left, I turned over a turnkey organization. It was so exciting and so surprising that I had to share it with the world. And I became an EOS implementer. Along the way, I also discovered behavioral science. And I started to use it to improve hiring, driver retention, engagement, and performance. I got certified in DISC, Predictive Index, PQ, PDP. My son, Adam Holtz, is on the phone with me. Adam, say hello. He is an integrator at a real estate and hotel company. He is also my partner in Predictive Index. He's certified in all the same assessments as me, plus Colby. And today we're going to share some of the mistakes that I made on my journey and how we help clients use behavioral science to avoid them. Sound good? Great. Thanks, Sean, for for nodding. So let me tell you about my hiring strategy. Someone would come into my office, the human equivalent of this gorgeous thoroughbred. They look good. They talk good. They're clearly an overachiever. How many of you would hire the human equivalent of this thoroughbred horse? Anyone? Well, I certainly would and did many, many times. And it was great, unless the job was to climb a tree. Then I needed a squirrel. So my point is, it's very important that you match the person with the job. If you need someone to climb a tree, you need a squirrel. The other thing I discovered, as I said, running a business is a lot of fun until it's not. I was often frustrated. I was under massive stress. I had 900 employees. And what happened was everyone got on my nerves. Nobody did anything fast enough. They needed so much direction. Why couldn't they figure it out themselves? It was faster for me to do it myself, hence I was unloading the trucks. And when there was a new project or a new idea, I was the only one who had time to do it. The stress made me not so pleasant. In fact, my children would call me the bitch CEO. I'm embarrassed about how I acted, both towards my family and to my employees. And it really probably did not bring out the best in them. Then I had what today I consider one of the greatest blessings of my life. I worked for an asshole. This guy would every once in a while start yelling at me for no reason. He would then profusely apologize, but I started to realize I was working for a jerk. And even though I am like the biggest overachiever in the world, I love overachieving, this guy lost me. I became what I consider one of those terrible employees. I was completely unengaged. In fact, I built my entire EOS business while I was working for him. So I like to talk about your minimum job requirements, what you absolutely have to do. I call it minimum successful effort. And that is exactly what this guy worked for me. The minimum successful effort employee at Party City was the stock guy who, when you walk in and said, "Where are the red plates?" he said, "I don't know, that's not my job." You're not building an amazing business on minimum successful effort employees. You need those employees who are fully engaged and go above and beyond. The difference between minimum successful effort and fully engaged is discretionary effort. And you get that by motivating your people. Now, I am not alone. 75% of employers say they have put the wrong person in the wrong seat, wasting time, resources, and energy. The cost of a wrong hire, I've seen it quoted between 2 and 27 times the employee's salary. I've twice watched CEOs who knew they had the wrong CFO and refused to replace them because for, all the reasons we hesitate to fire somebody. And both of them made million-dollar mistakes. That is just a bad example of the cost of a bad employee. And listen to this. Research shows 77% of employees are unengaged at work. They're doing minimum successful effort. Is that unbelievable? 70%, 77% of employees are unengaged. This is costing us $8.8 trillion in lost productivity over a year. So we need engaged employees if we're going to win in today's competitive environment. So there are 4 main areas that impact engagement. So the first is the job. You have a squirrel in a horse's job. You need people that are natural fits for their job. The second is the manager. That's what happened to me. That asshole resulted in me giving him minimum successful effort. On the manager thing, could you imagine you lose your best sales guy because the manager's a jerk? The third is your culture. And the fourth is your team. All of those things could create lost potential in your company. What we're going to talk about today is the job and the manager a little bit. So, has anyone here, I need some participation. I see everyone's on mute, but has anyone here ever worked for a boss that lacked self-awareness like I did? Anyone? Great. Mark, would you be willing to go off mute and tell us what that felt like? I know Mark, so he's
Hey, Amy.
advantage. Thanks.
How you doing? Good morning.
Good. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, you may not believe it. This is my first meeting of the day. You might be surprised.
Oh, I'm a little disappointed. Thank you.
Yeah, I literally rolled out of bed.
I'm honored.
Yeah, it's I guess it's you feel suppressed, right? You feel I mean, it was early in my career, and he was my boss. Technically, was probably 2 or 3 levels above me. Yeah, so I would just, he'd say jump, and I'd ask how high. That's kind of the kind of relationship we had.
So you weren't creative?
No, well, yeah, and I've been described as that's one of the adjectives that people often use to describe me. Even though I'm not a designer, I do tend to be creative. But yeah, I wasn't probably very creative in that role.
Yeah, so he lost all your entrepreneurial talents. Look at you now. You went out and built a big company.
I built a creative agency.
And he could have had that. Anyone else? Anyone else here who worked for a boss who lacked self-awareness that would share? Thank you, Mark. No one else. All right. I'm going to go on because I don't have any volunteers. But according to McKinsey, the best leaders are self-aware. So I know I want to be my best. Everyone here want to be your best? All right. So I'm just curious, how many of you actually think you're self-aware? Okay, a lot of you. So there was a famous study done over 5 years with 5,000 participants. And guess what percentage of the participants thought they were self-aware? Could somebody guess how many people what percentage thought they were self-aware? Chris, you look like you went off mute.
80.
80. Okay. And how many do you think actually were self-aware, Chris?
20.
20. All right, you got that one closer. 95% of people thought they were self-aware, but only 15 actually were. So we may not be as self-aware as we think. So self-awareness, let's start with the definition, because I think it's always good to ground ourselves in definitions, is awareness of your own drives, needs, and behaviors, and how your style impacts others. So it's understanding you and how you impact others. So why do people behave as they do? The way Predictive Index looks at it is people have drives. We all have many natural drives. Those drives create needs, and those needs create behaviors. So, for example, we all have the drive to survive. It creates a need to eat, and our behavior would be going to a restaurant or making dinner. So I'm going to show you how to understand yourself a little bit more. So you all got your behavioral assessment. Could everybody access your behavioral assessment that you got back from Predictive Index? Could everyone pull that out? Take a minute. Thank you, Corrine. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, for those of you. So I am going to show you what mine looks like. At the top on, I believe it is page 2, you're going to see a behavioral pattern. So what Predictive Index does is it measures 4 drives. And these 4, which I'm going to get into in a minute, these 4 drives could tell us a massive amount about how we behave at work. So across the top is my behavioral pattern, and you'll see in the middle of everybody's behavioral pattern, there is a line. When you're above the line, to the right of the line, that means you are high. When you're below the line, that means you're low. So I'm extremely high on the first drive, which is called dominance, which I'll explain in a minute. I'm above the line on the second drive, extroversion, and below the line on the third and fourth drives. So there's no good, there's no bad, there's just different. You need different people in different roles. Remember the tree, the squirrel, and the horse. So I'm going to go through these drives at a high level. So the first drive is the drive for dominance. The drive to exert one's influence on people and events. So people who are above the line with a high drive for dominance, they have the need to control their own work. They want opportunities to compete, and they want a big challenge. Their behaviors, they're going to be independent, assertive, and opinionated. Then people with a low drive for dominance, below the line, they like opportunities to collaborate. Those people in the beginning who said they like to make decisions collaboratively. They want freedom from individual competition, and they want harmony. Their behaviors, they're going to be agreeable, collaborative, and they'll avoid conflict. How many on this call are above the line on dominance? How many people are dominant? Corrine? Great. Sean? And how many are below the line? Okay, great. Great. So, Corrine, would you be willing to share what above the line looks like for you, a high dominance looks like for you, and how it's helped you in your career?
Well, how it's helped me in my career, I am trying to be more self-aware, so I try to do as much of this stuff as I can. Say the question again. You want to know how high it is?
I want to know how it shows up for you at work, and how it's helped you in your behavior being above the line, being high in dominance.
I guess how it's helped me in my work is it's made me more outgoing to reach out to people and for connections for work and just getting things done. I'm an achiever. I like to make things happen, tick them off the box.
Yeah, that's exactly, you just described me. Fantastic. I love people like you. And how about people who's low on dominance? who's low on dominance that'll share? Anybody? Adam, would you be willing to share? Oh, good. Please share.
My name is Rupesh. I'm not very low, but little bit like, 20% below low dominance. And that's probably my personality. I would like to collaborate, participate. I would like to listen to other person, know their perspective, and definitely trying to avoid the conflict consciously. So those are the way it helps is like, sometimes I let people offload what's in their chest, and then it's easy to communicate human to human versus like, two people in most of the, especially any crucial conversation, especially in the sales environment.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's yeah, people really need to feel heard and you let them feel heard. So
Being a husband, like that's what I'm trained to do that. So
well, you're in the right job then. You're in a squirrel climbing a tree. So I'm super high on dominance and I work with a guy who was low on dominance. And so I'm obviously very opinionated and assertive. And we worked together for 7 years. And he was always agreeing with me. He did whatever I want. And I thought it was because I was so brilliant. And when we went through this process, I discovered he was just agreeing with me because our relationship was more important than the task. So I said to him, going forward, when we're working together, do what I say, but let me know if you disagree. But that's what could happen when you have that, if you don't understand where each other is coming from. So thank you for sharing. So extroversion, we all know extroversion. It's the drive for social interaction with people. People with high extroversion needs, they like public recognition. They're the social media great people. They love opportunities to influence and connect with others. They're outgoing, they're animated, and they're sociable. People below the line on extroversion, they want private recognition. They like to work with facts, and they need privacy and time to trust others. Their behaviors, they're matter of fact, analytical, and they're introspective. Who's above the line on extroversion? Nobody? I got nobody. I'm above the line on extroversion. And who's below the line on extroversion? Okay, thanks, Karine. I'm gonna have to call on you again. So we all know what above the line on extroversion looks like. It's that person on social media who doesn't shut up, right? So Sean, would you share what below the line looks like on extroversion? How it's helped you in your career?
I could probably answer the inverse more more readily, but I think it's allowed me to be comfortable with other people's taking the spotlight. There's my business partner is very much the opposite. We're a very traditional visionary integrator kind of model. So in that sense, it's been very helpful because the two of us aren't both grabbing for the mic, as it were.
Right, right. I need a few extroverts on this call, so somebody will, help me out here. I keep calling on the same people. But that's important. It's great that you have that combination so you could complement each other. So that's extroversion.
Yeah. Amy, I'm
Thanks,
showing up,
Mark.
I'm showing up in the middle on most of them.
So you are adaptable. So you could go either way. So we could spend a little more time with you and explain it to you. This is sort of like a high overview, but people who are in the middle are adaptable and could go either way. Make sense? Great.
I would
So
say,
the
Amy, if you need somebody, I was moderately sociable. So if you need
Okay,
a
so
guinea
you want to
pig.
share how that's helped you in your career, Betsy? Thank you.
I mean, a big part of my job is talking to people and forming relationships with our members and just people with strategic partners, everything. So yeah, I mean, I definitely I can remember thinking back into like, I think middle school, whatever, when the teachers are talking to you. And I remember being like, oh, I'm like really good at talking. Like, what do I do for a career for that? And just coming up, nobody had a good answer. And I wish that somebody would have said like, oh, like sales and marketing is a great field to get into. And then I wouldn't have wasted my time getting an education degree. So
Right, right. Yeah, they should teach us this when we're younger.
Yeah,
It's so
absolutely.
important. It's so important. Great. Thank you for helping. And thanks, Mark. So patience, that's the drive for consistency and stability. So people who are high on patience, they like a stable work environment, freedom from changing priorities, and the ability to work at a steady pace. They're methodical, they're steady, they're patient, calm, and relaxed. They like to finish one thing, do the next thing. People with low patience needs. They like variety, change of pace, freedom from repetitive work. This is me. I'm doing 17 things at once. They're driving, fast paced, intense, and impatient. Go, go, go. Nothing is ever fast enough for us. So someone who's high, do we have someone high on patience on this call? Nobody? Okay, Chris, thank you. Could I call on you? Will you share how that helps you and how that shows up for you in work?
We're an IT engineering firm, so I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of me. So you need to talk it out, you need to think it out, you need to have a plan. Otherwise, it's just pushing wet spaghetti across the plate. So my approach works well with the audience.
That's fantastic. Yeah, you need somebody who can do consistency in that job, right? They could think for a long time. Anybody who's below the line on patience who's willing to share? Thank you, Chris. Anyone else? So I'm below the line. Oh, Corrine, did you raise your hand? Thank you. You're on mute though. How does it show up for you?
The patience,
Yeah.
we when we get busy, when we have a lot going on, I can roll right through and I love it. It energizes me even more to get more done.
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly how you feel. And is anything ever fast enough for you?
No, no, and it's irritating. My patience is very low when other people aren't keeping up.
I know. What's taking them so
Pay
long?
attention, keep up.
But they need time to think. Yeah, great, great. Thank you for sharing. So formality. Remember the rules, people who think of rules as suggestions. So formality is the drive to conform to rules and structure. People who are above the line on formality, they like clarity of expectations. They are risk averse. They want to train, study, and dig. Their behaviors, they're formal, they're cautious, they're careful, and they're conservative. People who are below the line on formality, they're flexible. They want freedom of expression, opportunities to be spontaneous. They're informal. They like risk and uncertainty, and they're casual. Who's above the line on formality? Great, thanks. Okay, Rupesh, would you be willing to share how that shows up for you?
Sure, and I think I'm 10 or 15% on each side. So probably I feel like, depends on the time. I can fake so many things or like, swing into other zone. But I would like things formal in terms of like, and careful, have everything, especially in the work environment. I would like to have structured. I was like, in corporate world before, which like, or like, to engineering degree as like, study. I have to connect all the dots as well as when I explain, I show each and every dots how to connect it. And sometimes it's when I present, it feels like, over explaining. When people explain, which is like extremely on the low side, I feel like I'm not getting enough information, so I carve for more information. But formally, in my profession, it really helped because most of the time, I help people in merger and acquisition in to show them full picture. 90% of them they do not know where they are. So
Right.
that's where it helped me in terms of getting. Normally, I keep another counterpart or someone on my team. He is like kind of giving me signal that you are talking too much.
Right.
So that
That's great to have. But yeah, show the same picture. I like people who are CFOs, attorneys, I like them to be high on this. I want them slowing down, being careful for risk. I had a CEO and his CFO was driving him crazy because he's super fast. Korean, he's like us. He just wants to go, go, go. And the CFO is like, hold on, we got to figure out what's going on here. We need a little bit of risk aversion. So you need both. So that's wise that you have someone who's sort of your counterbalance. And it's good to be like Mark, where you could flex between one and the other. So anyone low formality who wants to share? I'm sorry. Someone do it? I'm very low formality, and for me, rules are suggestions. I follow the rules if I think they make sense, and I've built my whole career on not breaking the rules. So that's formality. So what we just saw is how the factors combinations impact on a scale of one to the other. There's also a massive amount that could be learned about ourselves and each other's by how the factor combinations interact with each other. So for instance, we call these factor combinations, good name. So the A versus the B, it tells if somebody is more task-oriented or people-oriented. A versus C, are they proactive versus responsive? The A and D combination, it says how comfortable they are with risk. Are they risk averse or do they just go for it? The B and C combinations talk about how people connect. Are they quick to connect or do they take time? B and D shows if somebody's informal. These are the people who just say it the way it is. They might curse a lot versus the formal people, more structured. And then the C and D, how they interact with each other, tells if they're casual or careful with rules. Corinne, you have your hand up?
I do. Amy, so how are you comparing these? Like if I look at my little graph here,
Uh-huh.
so A versus B or A versus C. But like, can you explain a little more about how these
Yeah,
are
definitely.
corresponding to one another?
Yeah, definitely. If you go to page 3, you're going to see your factor combinations.
There we go. Okay.
So if you look at me, I'm very proactive. I take initiative. I'm competitive. I'm go, go, go. I get things done. You're probably the same, Corinne. I'm very comfortable with risk. That's how I've built. You're not? Oh, okay. That's interesting. I'm very comfortable with risk. I'm independent, self-confident. I've changed my career 7 times because I like variety and I'm comfortable with risk. I'm quick to connect. I'm fast talking, lively, informal. I'm more task oriented than people oriented. So if you go to page 3, you'll see all those things. So what I'd love to do now is have you do a little bit of an exercise. We are going, if you go to page 5 of your behavioral assessment, you're going to see your strongest behaviors. We're going to put you in breakout rooms for 10 minutes. And what I'd love for you to do is review your strongest behaviors and then take turns sharing 2 behaviors that resonate with you and how they have helped you in your career. Does that sound good? Any questions before Nady puts you in breakout rooms? Okay, so Nady, you want to put everyone in 10-minute breakout rooms?
Yeah,
Into
just tell me how many rooms we need.
however many people there are. It's 2 rooms, 2 people per room, and don't put me, Adam, or you in a room.
You can also leave me out unless you really want me to put in, unless there's an odd number and you need me to go in.
Can you please not put me in the same room with Crean?
That might be a high
Yeah.
level of skill.
I don't want to deal. I don't want to deal with that this morning. She is my business partner. So it's we
Oh,
do
well,
these things. Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
Okay, just so Barry, with whom you want to be?
I'm kidding. I don't mind being the same thing with. I'm kind of joking. So, but yeah, we do these things often, and we like to compare notes afterwards and compare and see how great I am and how she fails at everything.
I'm sure that's the case. Nady, you good? Can you do it?
I'd also say that I didn't get the test beforehand, so I might not be the best person to talk about this. So maybe if there's 3 people in a room, there's an
Who
odd
is
number.
this? Who's
Charlie
speaking?
Pileski.
Oh, Charlie Pileski. See if you could put him in a room with 3. And it's the assessment, the link for the assessment was in the invite. But Betsy could send it to
Charlie, moved you to whom?
just 2
I
people.
just need the names.
Any random 2 people, put them in a group of 3.
Pileski is the last name.
So Nady likes to do everything really carefully and accurately, if you can't tell.
Okay.
Sorry for the delay.
Maybe while we're waiting, we should have people who are not from Philly tell us where they're coming from.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Well, Betsy, thank you so much to EO Philly for having this predictive index workshop. I'm from EODC and really appreciate the opportunity to participate. Thank you.
Well, we really appreciate you joining us. Who else is here?
Ryan
Rupesh
Atkinson.
Barad, I'm from EO Richmond,
Oh,
and I'm with
nice.
Transworld Business Advisors. I have done a couple of tests in my past. I think personalization and some of the tests, and so many time I got a result that they doubt that I'm faking the test. But sometimes, most of the time, it comes center line or a square box or something. So I said yes, I can swing. Depends on the environment in high or low if needed.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a great point. First of all, I don't think any test is foolproof if somebody wants to lie. But what Predictive Index does is it gives you behavioral interview questions to try to suss that out. But really I think, if somebody wants to game it, if you have a fraudulent person.
No, game is a joke. It means like, most of the time the test comes like, so balanced that my, like, moderator or like, they joke about it that this, hey, looks like you faked the test. But I think I know that I can swing either way, depends on the situation.
Yeah, yeah. What I found with the reason, first of all, I love all these tests, but the reason I like Predictive Index is because it's validated for hiring. So you could use it for hiring, and it's only 5 minutes. So one of my current clients was using a 3-hour assessment. He was hiring a big CEO, and he took Predictive Index and he got the same results in 5 minutes. So it's accurate and it's fast, and then everything is easy to read. It's bullet points, it's 1 pages, as opposed to these very long things. So it's easy to use once you're trained on it. Nady, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going well. Just needed to reconfirm with whom Barry memes wanted to be. Sorry,
Now, Nady, just break
I
everybody
didn't get
into
it.
rooms of 2 except that one guy and put him in a room of 3. See, this
It
is
doesn't
her
work
need.
about me.
Yeah. Just
Okay, I'm going to open all the rooms.
thank you. Thank you.
Ready? Go.
Yeah, for 10 minutes. How come we still have it? Nady, what happened to Mark and Sean and Rupesh?
Do you guys see the button to join?
It's so funny. My participants are the ones who didn't. You guys see the button to join? No?
What if we put them back in the waiting room and then put them in the, do you think that would work?
So sorry, let me see what happens.
You want to just do it here, us? Why don't you guys, you want to take a quick look and we'll do it? Let's just do it here, you guys. Take a look. We're not going to participate. There are 4 of you. And you'll share your 2 strongest behaviors. So go to, what page? Go to page 5.
Would you like me to pause the recording for this part just because it's
Yeah.
like,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good. Great. So I see that I am running out of time. So normally I would have had a group share now, but I see that we're running out of time. What are you looking at hang on 1 second. Sorry about that. So what I'd like to do is just give you a quick summary of how you could leverage data to get the right people in the right seats, drive retention, engagement, and performance. So let's imagine we're hiring a salesperson, and we have somebody who's known as a guardian. They're reserved, reactive, risk averse, cautious, conservative, stable, calm, and they enjoy consistent work. And then we have what's called a persuader. They're social, they're extroverted, they're comfortable with ambiguity, they're a confident decision maker, and they're fast moving, strong initiative. Which one do you want as your salesperson? Number 2, right, obvious. So this is that whole horse versus squirrel analogy that I did in the beginning. What you really want to do is make sure people are naturally wired for the job you're giving them. Adam often describes it, you don't want to give a left-handed person a right-handed job. They could do it, but it'll drain their energy. I do have a very important disclaimer. The whole person shows up at work. So what we teach at Predictive Index is you want to hire on head, heart, and briefcase. So briefcase is life experience. It's their resumes. It's their interviewing. Heart, this is their core values. We want to make sure they exhibit the behaviors that we mandate to be a right person in our company. So it's that core values fit. And also, do they care about the work you're doing? And last is your head. And that is what Predictive Index is looking at it. It's looking at your behavioral assessment. If you're hiring a CFO, is the person risk averse? If you're hiring a salesperson, are they extroverted? Are they quick to connect? So it's actually looking for, you want to hire on head, heart, and briefcase. And the second thing is what we call, I'm feeling pressure to finish, the golden rule. So the golden rule is to treat people how you would want to be treated. But what Adam and I try to get our clients to do is the platinum rule, to treat people the way they want to be treated. So Nady and I are a perfect example. Nady, thank you for your help today. But she is uncomfortable with ambiguity. That's why she's asking as we're sitting there, okay, who wants to go with you? Who? I was like, and I'm super fast and driving. I'm like, why isn't everybody in the room? That she's completely accurate. You know, Charlie, who do you want to be with? Right? You see the difference? She enjoys calm, consistent work. I drive this nice woman crazy. Nady, did you do this? Oh, will you call up Sean? Now call up Mark. Do this, do this. I drive her nuts. She wants to finish one thing, do the next thing. And then she's reserved. She wants to think things through. I'm like, calling her up, wanting to talk it out. So it's so funny because as I was preparing this slide, and I really knew who she was, which I'm better about. I know if I'm giving her a task, I have to explain it to her. I have to take the time. But literally, we prepared this slide. And then 20 minutes later, I got mad at her because she wasn't doing something as fast as I wanted. But the great thing about it was we could joke about it. We both know our strengths and weaknesses, and please God, we have a good relationship. Nady, would you agree? I hope. So it's important to get your people and treat them the way they want to be treated, so they're engaged and they stay with you. So what's Predictive Index do? It improves your hiring process, so it reduces those costly mishires. To me, that's the most important thing because one mishire destroys you. It takes so much time, so much energy. It's so horrible. It helps you develop your talent by understanding who they are and how they can grow. It helps you build better relationships. It shows you how you relate to somebody else. It helps you understand your team and build a team for the tasks that you want and where you're weak, and it also has a lot of culture surveys. So that's kind of beyond this. And I think I'm just going to jump because we're almost done. Anyone have any quick questions for me? Because I want to honor your time and be done in 1 minute. We could stay after, or I could let you leave. Oh, Kareem,
That was
thank you.
great, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Amy.
Thank you. And feel free to reach out if you want to learn more.
Have a
We
good
love
day,
it.
everybody.
All right,
You
thank
All
you.
right,
too.
thank you
for
so much.
joining.
I
Where
don't think
should
I
we
have
get-
your contact information. Can you share that?
Sure. I
I
could
can,
put-
I can
you-
send out an email afterwards, and if you're okay, Amy, with me sharing the slides, I can include that, and then this is being recorded, so.
Yeah, I can't share the slides, but you could share the recording because it's
Okay.
not my, but yeah, please share my contact information and Adam's. And we're happy to talk to anybody and teach you
Great.
more. Great.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Mark, thank you for